What's up? What a surprise! What a surprise! What a surprise! A stream a day after another stream. What's up? Oh, you know why. So let's cut the chatter and get to it. We all know that Vanguard is shipping in the gunsmith system with 10 attachments. And there's starting to be some complaints of it, not only gameplay wise, but historical wise. It's like, dude, come on. Historically, and I have discussed this in my past streams discussing Vanguard and their gunsmith system, that there were no attachments back then like there are now, and it's so unrealistic in that regard. For much as they say, oh, it's a historical immersion, it's like, dude, have the only attachment that was back then considered an attachment was the scope that it was used for snipers and marksman riflemen, and that's it. And it was more so in bolt actions than in the M1 Garand or any other gun. There was no consideration for red dots or nothing. But yet here we are. Here we are. But one thing that I'm gonna say is that why I advocate for 7 instead of 10. And as you can see, most content creators could agree that it's a better balance, but more so, in my perspective, I think it's the best one we can actually get. You know, for a few reasons. And let me get. It's barely holding together. What a disaster. But hey, I actually can say a little bit of history because of this. This is my old BB gun that I destroy training security drills. Um, as you can see, it's completely gone. It's barely holding together. But the reason that I say 7 instead of 8, it's more so because, well, we have 5. As you can see from the thumbnail, it's like Modern Warfare has allowed you 5 standard. But if it allows you 1 or 2 more, it can actually be more balanced. You can just have 1, 2. Consider this one as a nostalgic attachment, as they consider it. uh, your scope, your laser, that's 4. 5 magazine. To actually say that fuck, it's a BB gun. The battery doesn't work. 5 barrel, 6, 7, 8. You could say 9. The perk. Like, I understand that the 10 attachments. And the perks, they divided it and they make it different. I think they added the ammunition because you cannot carry a laser. Lasers are not at the time of World War II, so you can have like almost 11. Uh, get inside. It's all barely holding together. Anyways, so why 7 instead of 10? Because then your base weapon is actually trash. As we felt in Cold War, the gun by itself without attachments is trash. It's like you need something in order for it to actually feel a little bit better, feel a little bit more, like a red dot or a barrel or even a foregrip, even if you had the freaking irons. Um, on that regard, it's like you needed something in order to at least make it a little bit better. But if we go back to Modern Warfare 2019, we can actually see that even with the base gun, no attachments, um, just you and your gun with, I don't know, camouflage, um, you could still we could still go and get kills. It's it's good. It's good. The attachments, obviously, they affect the weapon itself, but enhancing range, or CQB, but the base weapon, it still works, and it's not a piece of trash. And the challenges that I have been having this week in Modern Warfare, the get this many kills with zero attachments or four or three or two, all of the attachments. Like I started to notice is that with the zero attachments, this is going to be my like third time with it, that challenge. But still, I go in and I can use the weapon. I can actually use it and not say, "Oh, I need this barrel, I need this grip, I need this muzzle brake, or all that stuff." You know. Uh, so in the end, it's more so the fact of, hey, it's not a piece of trash. So all the attachments that I add, it's more so like an enhancement towards it. And well, we're going into week two on Vanguard, and Saturday and Sunday is going to be the open beta, and PC, Xbox, PlayStation, uh, but you could consider free. But if you have the pre-order, you can play tomorrow, starting tomorrow. That's that's like the new exclusivity for all, even though it's more so guided for PlayStation, because Sony's a dick um, in gaming. Uh, you see, that's why I don't have PlayStation, because I don't know. The only game that I like the PlayStation per se would be Bloody Roar, a fighting game, but that's it. uh, Anyways, going back to it, why seven? Because I feel like with seven, it's well, you can say it's more. It feels more complete. It feels like there's a balance between what we've been having since Black Ops 3, the five attachment slots, and we have had onwards. And hey, shooting. And then having the eighth, having played a little bit of Cold War and a little bit of multiplayer, but more so on zombies. The eight attachments is almost like a must. It feels like five attachments they're telling you is like no, because they gave you the option of gunfighter in order for you to actually make your gun feel complete. And in that regards, it's almost like saying, hey, then Cold War weapons baseline are trash, while Modern Warfare ones I can actually enjoy using. And it's not so much of the engine type, it's more so the feel of it. I can actually feel more, well, obviously because of the engine, and the way that they animate it, but more so gameplay wise, I can actually be comfortable with a Modern Warfare weapon in bare bones than in a Cold War one. Because the Cold War one, even though different eras and everything, but let's compare it with the M4. The M4 that I've used, everybody that played Modern Warfare has used it a lot. Because for a very, very, very long time was a meta weapon. What ended up happening is like even the base gun, it was so dangerous, and the XM4 that is the Cold War one, it's the base one feels trash. It's like it's not enough, you know. Like I need something to actually enhance. In real life perspective, if we can actually put it, it's like yes, because the M4 has had its evolution, has had its changes, has been enhanced. But in gaming perspective, there shouldn't be that much change. I should actually be using the XM4 fine without attachments instead of actually dreading to get at least a few attachments in order to make it decent. Not even good or great, it's like decent in a gunfight. And that's just sad. That is sad because then it's forcing you to get to a certain level of your weapon in order for you to then enjoy the game. While when I can actually go and like grab the Scar or the M4, bare bones in Modern Warfare, and I can get kills with it, fine, no problem. Hey, I want to dimple the recoil or extend my range, and then the recoil is like, yeah, longer barrel. Even though it's heavy, but I can nail you from afar without having it much issue. But I could still nail you. It's just a little bit more troublesome. Well, not that troublesome, but skill wise, it requires a little bit more. But regardless, the base weapons in Modern Warfare feel competent. They feel decent. They feel fine. While in Cold War, they feel like a piece of shit. And in Vanguard, what they were actually saying, because not only the 10 attachments, but more so the weapon leveling. The weapon leveling in Vanguard, they're saying it's too slow. It's like I can't enjoy the game because the gun is a piece of trash, and in order to unlock attachments, for me to enjoy the game, it's so slow. So we're starting to see a pattern that they're trying to make you have more attachments, but also making the base gun a piece of shit. And that's not how it works. In real life, I could grab uh, any gun bare bones, and it has to perform to its standards. Even if I grab a World War II gun, let's say I grab the MP40. I know the MP40 is for CQB. I know by itself it's a very decent gun. It's a fine gun, and if the user's a professional gun shooter or a warfighter, it can actually, you know, make it work. And in game, they're saying that any gun, it's like I have to unlock attachments in order for it to make it work, in order for it to make it decent enough for me to enjoy the game. But it's so costly because the level weapon progression is so slow. That harms more the gaming multiplayer experience than anything else. That's one. Now, in the matter of number of attachments, it's almost making you crazy. I understand that they're trying to uh, appeal to the competition of Battlefield 2042 with, oh, you can have multiple attachments and it. Well, obviously we can have it, but more so guided like 10 attachments at the same time. I mean, yeah, but at the cost of making the gun a piece of shit. It's like no, or going almost like the Escape from Tarkov thing. The various attachments that you can have and how it affects the weapon itself. Like seriously, because even let's be frank here. Let's be sincere. The ammunition thing, it's not Battlefield. The ammunition thing comes from Tarkov, and more so Arma. Arma is the one that actually, even though it's a sandbox of a military simulation, but they have ammo types in there, and the ammo types are very accurate to the counterparts in real life. So it's almost like they're trying to grab from different games and trying to implement it as if it is Call of Duty standard when it's not Call of Duty standard. And they're making your weapon rely more so on that than by itself. And you're trying to do that on World War II weapons. I'm sorry to say, but no. World War II weapons, they only they were only fed one type of ammo, FMJ, and that's it. Sometimes it was soft point, but that was because of scarcity of bullets. Other than that, it was very rare to find any type of ammunition itself. But hey, I understand. I understand that they're trying to implement, those ideas into Call of Duty, but don't try to force it into a Call of Duty standard when it's badly implemented, when you're making your base gun a piece of trash. Now, going back to the attachment selection, the reason that Modern Warfare weapons have only five is because it's a correct balance towards them. But, here's the but. If they actually, because when you try to select a sixth one, it actually lets you like select, and also it tells you, hey, you reached your limit, and we noticed it. But if you actually go into the menu and put the preview for the sixth attachment, it let with the gun, it actually lets you, and you're like, oh, so they had a plan to actually allow you a six. Like this is what I've gathered in my thoughts on. It's like they actually allowed you for a sixth one, but because the sixth attachment was almost like overpowered in their sense of way, they didn't allow it. But they actually let you preview it, and it's like, why not made a perk in actuality to make it balanced? Everybody in the beginning, like the first few months, were advocating for a perk that actually lets you carry a sixth attachment on the weapons of Modern Warfare. You know, carry another attachment at a cost of a perk. And that would have been fine. I mean, it's a perfectly way to balance the game. You know, you have no six perk. No, you have no three perks. You just have two because one of them, one of the three just allows you to have six attachments at a cost of a perk. So that would have been fine. You know, a, like they say, a perfectly balanced thing. So we see Cold War. The gunfighter allows you eight attachments. That's a little bit too much because sometimes you don't need eight attachments. I have found that the perfectly balanced weapon in Cold War is actually seven instead of six. Instead of six or five or eight or even 10 attachments, it's seven. Because for zombies and a bit of multiplayer that I've played, I've used the M4 with only seven, and even if I've used the Krieg uh, with seven, and it's perfectly balanced. It's almost like eight. It's like overkill. It's just it unbalances the weapon in a way that I cannot um feel it the same gameplay wise. Hey, Gerard or Thomas, and so we see that this trend of having more attachments actually making the gun shittier, it destroys the experience because then it tells you like until you have your weapon level 20 something and you have somewhat of decent attachments on it, you can actually enjoy the multiplayer. And that's not it. That's not the case. Fake Thomas. When will the real Thomas stand up? Uh, so my base gun doesn't have to be a piece of shit. My base gun has to be decent enough. And the attachments, even though you can say, well, it has its pros and cons, in real life. And they in Modern Warfare they translated that one like very good, very balanced. Then my overall attachments should be. See, this is why doppelgangers are very dangerous. They cut your legs. They do stuff to you. Going back to the attachments have an impact, yes, but it's more so the user and how it it uses the gun with those attachments. And seven is perfectly balanced. Like I'm stating a lot, because you can have stock, that's one. You got your sight, that's two. You got your pistol grip, that's three. Um, Within the magazine, you can have like two, ammunition type if you want, but and your caliber conversion that it's realistic, not just anything. The underbarrel, the barrel, like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. The barrel, muzzle eight, a laser nine. So you have nine. It's too much. What do we do? We allow you only seven. How am I? Oh, I'm good. How are you? And second one, you you need to get for your next guest, Fake Thomas. I suggest you research Ray William Johnson. You're gonna get a good interview from them. H&E. Again, hi. So from those nine, because what we can do with the proficiency, like the perk system that they have, you can actually make it like a 10. But we rarely use those, or we use fully loaded, or we use sleight of hand in some cases. So we allow you only to use seven, because from those seven that you can choose, you can actually make a perfectly balanced weapon. You know, um, I could grab uh, the Remington R10. From my Call of Duty Ghost remake. Yes, the you. Shit, notifications are ringing. Yes, the YouTuber. Yeah, get the YouTuber. And so, grabbing the example of the R10 from Call of Duty Ghost remake that I'm still working on the script. Um, Almost there. From there, you can actually make a perfectly balanced one. Mobile, and it can engage in long distance. Well, not so long, but more so effective on medium distances, or reduce it to uh, like a sniper system, that has a little bit more of mobility, or it's more so guided towards uh, a DMR with ammunition that helps you, as a DMR, and that's it. So it's almost like the base gun works, but it's just more so I'm guiding the attachments all to a designated type of style. And five limits you a little bit more than you can hope for. But having 10, it's excessive. It's like, what do I do with the rest of the slots if I finish my configuration? So you have no idea what to do. It's like, oh, it's there. I don't care. It's like that's the limit, and that's what happened in. If you pay attention, that's what happened when we started with the five system attachment in Black Ops 3. Because many of the weapons, you feel that it was enough with three or perfectly balanced at four. Because adding a fifth one is like, what do I do with this one or this two? Is like, where do I put it? Infinite Warfare had the same problem with some of the guns. I didn't play Black Ops 4 nor World War Two. World War Two just played the campaign. That's it. But it was the same thing. It's like, what do I do with this? And in Modern Warfare, it's the balance is like five, but it feels like it can have one or two more in order to actually make it, a custom. Because one of the things that they nail in the customization of the gun in the gunsmith is more so the gun speaks to player, you know? And I feel that seven attachments out of the 10 or 11 slots that you can have, uh, it actually speaks towards you. But the gun itself doesn't have to be a piece of trash in order for you to actually put attachments in order for it to be decent for a gunfight. It has to be decent enough for itself with no attachments. And then the customization that you have on it, it is the enhancement of the player's style of gameplay that will speak why he likes like saying I like the MP5, but if it has a little bit more range, a little bit more of a long barrel, uh, this type of stock, having seven attachments on the MP5 that permits the user to actually have the you know medium range, a little bit more covered while still being powerful enough for the CQB. That's the type of player that could have balance with seven attachments. And you can say, oh, whoa, that's his style, and with seven is perfect. You don't need more. You don't need 10, and then you're going to be a piece of shit unless it has 10. It's like it's decent with none, but it's impeccable with seven, despite the configuration the player gives it. So moving forward with the rest of Call of Duties, having just permitting you 10, I understand, but seven, allow just seven because from there you can actually see um, more players guided in toward defining their their style, their style of play. We have seen it in Warzone when it started. Everybody was like, "Well, the M4," but someone's like, "Oh, well, I don't like the irons. I need I need a scope." Or, "Hey, the scope is just like I need something else." To actually reduce that time of that ADS into less time that I take in order for me to be precise. So modern warfare weapons are in Warzone are best example as like that, and the configuration that I have for the R10 in Ghost, uh, like having the a Singular type stock, for moving fast while ADS, while having a little bit of long barrel with a muzzle brake, or just a muzzle brake in order for me to remain accurate. The M203, the ACOG on it, um, the laser, the grip for faster ADS, and the ammunition type that it's like that creates more damage, but I have one less mag. Oh, that's one of the things. I'm saying I understand why they added ammunition, but instead of just adding specifically for each type of weapon, it's like in general because it's modern and you can find it with every caliber. It's like you know, here's their pros and cons, and that's it. And everybody can choose it, but it's an attachment slot, and you can only carry seven. And speaking of seven, I'm actually implementing that on the Ghost remake for multiplayer, because, like I'm stating, seven is perfectly balanced in Call of Duty as attachments, rather than just over accessing it to 10 or 8, or even limited now to 5. It's almost like Modern Warfare 2019's Gunsmith opened the window for possibility of having more than 5, because you feel it. Even though the guns are decent, it feels like it's going towards that direction instead of the excessive 8 or 10. 7 is the perfect balance on it, because then you can have what in real life in the gun community are referring to as a recce rifle, but it's more so guided towards guns, meaning you have an all purpose weapon system. I can go medium long shooting with having no problems on CQB. Same goes a little bit for pistols and SMGs, but it's more so towards rifles. But yeah, the concept is still there. It's having an all-purpose weapon, created by the user. You grab one gun and then make it an all-around one. The jack of all trades, but the king of none. And that's the direction that Call of Duty should take. Just allow you seven, but make the base gun, decent in order for it to actually be more familiar, as you can say. And one other thing, speaking about it, the blueprint system. Please let us save more than four. It's so limiting to have just only four slots. I understand you want to sell blueprints, but sometimes we just want to have more slots for us to create our own Frankensteins than to have more to buy. So that's another thing. But in any case, let's just hope that they have fixed for the second week of the beta in Vanguard uh, the weapon level progression and the weapons itself, not only in the distortions of the muzzle flash and the vapes that the powder creates. So if they have taken notes, Sledgehammers, and they're implementing it as we speak for the second week of the beta, and they shows, then we can say, like in the last stream that I stated, if they're paying attention, it may not be a lost cause, but because of the competition it has and because of the general direction everybody wanted, it was it seems like a lost cause. But we just had to wait and see. So we can judge them right now from the first week, but for the second week we have to wait and see if they actually implemented those changes. After that, well, it's a little like, oh, we can judge you from this, but we cannot tell if the final product is going to be a piece of shit. In any case, I hope you guys enjoy. Like, share, subscribe for more. This Friday, I'm not sure for the stream, but if not, Saturday 2 p.m. Central, and we're gonna discuss more so uh, Well, let's try to make an argument more so of why ammunition types can help Call of Duty in the long run, but it has to be added. There has to be another mode added to it, added to Call of Duty, not the ammunition type. So until next, yeah, until Saturday, I think it's more possible. Until Saturday, stay safe, take care of yourself and others. Um, and Sheen, if you're still on Discord, Fake Thomas, you should get that to that YouTuber. That's gonna help you a lot. Because that guy is an all ass. He's one of the first YouTubers in YouTube history. I'm not joking. So yeah. Anyways, Saturday is more probable 2 p.m. Central. Like, share, subscribe. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. And till